Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Arlene Dijamco, the MultiDimensional MD. Thank you so much for being here with me today. My topic today is about forgiveness, and this is so important for healing, for multidimensional healing, and it's why I wanted to talk about it with you today. You may sometimes think, like, why talk about forgiveness as a physician? Well, it's such a big part of healing, and I'm going to kind of break it down for you in 11 keys to set yourself free with forgiveness. So to jump right in here, the first thing is to avoid spiritual bypassing. And I've seen articles written about this, and it is really a good thing to clarify, because I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about what forgiveness is and what it means. And so a lot of times people will say, like, oh, you should just forgive, just and move on with your life. Say something terrible happened to you. Well, it's true. It can be very difficult. And so the first thing is to not try to bypass where somebody is at that moment, because there can be a lot of feelings that come up. There can be anger, there can be sadness, there can be grief. And so to not bypass that and not skip over it for a person if you're kind of trying to help someone else go through a difficult time, because it is a process for each person and you can't necessarily rush it. And if you do, they will feel like they're not heard. And the same thing if you do this for yourself. It's like you won't feel seen and heard even by yourself. So to avoid doing that and avoid someone feeling like they've been gaslighted or that they're being misunderstood is to start with a conscious acknowledgement of where you are in the present moment. And when you do this, it really provides like a more steady foundation, because you can't skip over your feelings. You can't just say, oh, I'm fine with it. I don't feel angry. I don't feel sad. I don't feel, whatever feelings come with it, and they'll be all mixed up. So to give yourself that time to process and to be with yourself, to have that love for yourself that you can be in this moment and be okay with even the discomfort for it. This is like the huge part of the healing, is that you can be okay because you have so much love for yourself that you can be okay with whatever you are feeling, even if it's uncomfortable. And also trusting that through that, on the other side of that, is something amazing, that whatever challenges you go through in life, that it is part of your growing through things, and part of helping you realize just how amazing you are, that light and love within you. So you want to be able to release yourself as that victim, to release that victim role, and to see that you can create your life. When you release yourself as a victim, you're claiming responsibility. And this kind of goes together as number 3 and 4, that you release yourself as a victim, and before that, realizing that you can create your life. The victim role is that you feel like everything is happening to you and that you can't change things. But that's not true. It can so feel like that, that kind of hopelessness and helplessness, but it is an illusion. It is not true. So this is part of waking up to who you are, to really understanding who you are. If you knew how much love and light you had within you, you would know that you can create the life that you want. And so having these kind of enlightenments will really help you through a forgiveness process. And number 5, as I mentioned, this is part of the multidimensional journey of healing mind, body, spirit. I've seen so many different times where when people let go of these cords that are tying them energetically with another person that they're upset with, it's like an energetic drain. So when they're able to release them, it's like all that energy can come back to you. And it sets yourself free, and it also sets the other person free. It's having that grander perspective too, because we don't know exactly why things happen, and that is okay. There are so many miracles in life, and we don't know how they necessarily unfold. So I like to assume that anything that I go through is part of that unfolding process so that I can witness miracles. Um, and so when you let go of these energetic cords, it's like it really like frees yourself up from this entanglement that you may have with another person. And you can even imagine sometimes like letting those cords like come back to you and letting that other person's like go back to them to release yourself from the entanglement. And number 6, it's not about forgetting. It's not forgive and forget, because that may not necessarily serve you. Forgiveness is about self-love, and you want to be able to take care of yourself and live sustainably. And that may mean making changes in your life so that you can take care of yourself and that you can take steps in a way that is very loving to yourself. So it's not forgive and forget, but you know that you have been able to forgive when you can think about a situation or a story in the past, and it no longer has a grip on you. It no longer makes you like kind of make a face and feel so bad, that you have so released yourself from it that you can move forward. So it's not about forgetting, because forgetting is not always a good thing. We want to be able to remember things from the past to help us move forward in the future. Number 7, forgiveness is a key to happiness. And again, it's part of that multidimensional process. So when you feel that cord to another person pulling at you and you can't stop thinking about it, it's an energetic drain. And so it's hard to fully realize and feel yourself and be really present with yourself without stepping into forgiveness and without allowing forgiveness. And I like that allowing process. We're going to talk a bit more about it because it's gentler on you and it makes it easier. A lot of times people get so much into the pressure of forgiveness, and it is not about that. If you can go through the other steps I talked about in the recording, then you will see it is a process, and it is about waking up to yourself and understanding yourself and knowing who you are. And understanding how you are connected to the universe. And so forgiveness is such a key part of that, and being able to tap into your own happiness and that endless joy. It's a very deep inner joy within you that's in more of an everlasting joy. And so as you are able to kind of lift these layers that weigh you down, then you are able to really to feel that more. Oh, might have misnumbered these. Okay, so number 9 here. This is a really interesting point because it's a different way of looking at your suffering and at your pain, whether it's physical pain, whether it's emotional, mental discomfort. Because when you are hurt, when you're hurt by another person or you feel hurt, it's because you actually love yourself. If you didn't care about yourself, you wouldn't hurt, right? And if you didn't care about another person, you wouldn't feel badly for what happened to them, or you wouldn't even care about what they did. So in a way, feeling hurt is a way of realizing, no, you actually do love. It is not the only way, but it is a great perspective to have, because then it really opens you up. So instead of focusing on the hurt, it's having a more expanded view and perspective, stepping to that like grander, not just looking at the trees, but stepping back and looking at the whole forest, looking at the whole like grand universal perspective, and realizing that this rainbow of human emotions is because you love. You feel because you love. So you don't want to skip over that. It is so essential in healing. You want to be able to be present with every moment, with every juicy moment of your life, whether or not it is uncomfortable. And to trust that every challenge, every difficulty, and every joy and every happy moment is a stepping stone towards whatever you're growing through, and whatever amazing thing is through that. If you think about stories and movies and books, my oldest has said before, she's like, well, Mommy, it wouldn't be a good book if nothing bad happened. Because I'd asked her, like, are you sure you want to read that? She was in elementary school at the time. And, why do you want to read that? It seems sort of dark. And like, what was it? A series of unfortunate events. I was like, everything is unfortunate. And she said, Mommy, if nothing bad happened, it wouldn't be a good story. So this is your life, this is your story, and it is going to be a good one. And once you start to realize what those challenges mean, it means that you do love, then you start to have more depth and meaning in your story. And that is a really great part of living. Let me see, did I skip something here? Well, we will keep going. Number 10. Ho'oponopono. So Ho'oponopono is this Hawaiian process of approaching reconciliation and forgiveness, of peace. And there's 4 parts to it. It is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So this is a very popular process to go through anytime you may feel wronged by somebody, or maybe you feel like you've wronged someone. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in person. It can just be more on the spiritual level as well. And so in a very brief description, when I do this, I like to kind of sit with each phrase, which each part slowly until I feel it in my heart. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And to like really imagine it until I feel it and let it sink in. Now, those different parts can be difficult in different ways for people. And I'm not going to go through all the depth of it right now. But I do want to say one thing, because I have seen people kind of twist it in a way where it is less productive, because Ho'oponopono has sometimes been described as cleaning, to kind of get rid of things and to clean yourself. That's not the way I really like to look at it, because you are not separate from love. You are love. You are always part of the divine oneness. You are part of God. And so when you feel like you have to clean yourself, it's assuming that you are not part of that love and oneness. And it's just also assuming that something is wrong with you. And there is nothing ever wrong with you. You may feel unbalanced, but again, part of that is realizing that, oh, part of these uncomfortable feelings are because you love yourself. And so to allow yourself to get through them, so that you can be present and to learn and to grow and to fully understand yourself. And not to do it in a pushy way, because it's not loving when you're pushing yourself in a way that doesn't feel good. So not to also do these like things, these processes like the Ho'oponopono in a way that's so pushy, that is demanding of you, that's telling yourself there's something wrong with you. Do you get it? How there's a difference there? I've seen this so commonly, so I wanted to clarify that. And I wanted to give you a different 3-step process for forgiveness. And this is paraphrased from A Course in Miracles. And this really is, to me, true forgiveness, because true forgiveness is forgiving yourself for believing that you are anything but love, that forgiving yourself for believing that you are separate from that universal divine, that you are separate from God. This is something that needs to sink in, because it's so profound and it can be difficult to really understand, which is part of the 3-step process. So the first is to really wake up to that, to acknowledge that what we are living is like this movie. So as within, so without. So what you feel in you, we will also kind of be mirrored in your outer world. So that's already like a really big one. But if we acknowledge that we are the creators of our own life, then it needs to start from within. So if we want to see peace in the world, it has to start from within. If we want to see love in the world, it has to start from within. So everything it's being, it has to be in you first before you can really see it truly in the world, or to see more of it in the world. If you want to create more of it, create it in you. That's the first step, is to waking up to that, acknowledging that you are the creator of your life, and acknowledging that as within, so without. So what you feel inside you, what you are, your being feels, then you create that in the world. Number 2 is to be willing to see this different perspective, a grander perspective, that part of the suffering is that we've forgotten that we are not separate, that we are part of this connection. We are part of the oneness. We are connected with the divine. We are always connected with God. And when we suffer, it's because we forgot. So having that, to be willing to have that bigger perspective. This is a much bigger perspective than the ego healing, which is like more on the human level, which that definitely has value as well. But I want to even step it up more and to help you see this much bigger, grander perspective. So that's the second part. The first part, waking up to it, to realize you can create your life. The second part is to be willing to see the perspective that you are not separate, that you are part of the divine universe, the divine oneness. Number 3, because we are human, it's difficult to do it with just our ego. So there's an easier way. You ask for help. This is one of the best prayers that you could ever make. You pray for help, to remember, to help you realize that you are part of the oneness, that you were never separate, that you are always connected with God. It's one of the most profound things that you can ask for. And when you do, so much healing can occur, mind, body, and spirit. If you have pain, the pain can lift. Physical pain can lift. Mental, emotional pain can lift. Discomfort can lift. You free yourself. You feel this expansion because you no longer feel weighed down by all of that feeling of like the victim, that you can't do anything, that you are separate, that the world happens to you. So you free yourself from all of that. You feel this expansion, and in that is a depth of joy and peace and love that is healing on all levels. So it's a lot. I would encourage you to kind of like rewind and go through that again. And I'll outline below in the description for this live stream the different points so you can like jump to them in the video. Well, have a great holiday, everyone. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. Merry anything that you're celebrating. I wish you so much love, and thank you for joining me here today. And I will see you next time. Lots of love to you.